Hey, I'm Andrea, and in this video, we're just going to talk about some of my predictions for the 2023 baseball season. So starting with the American League, these are my predictions, so let's go through them. I picked Toronto to win the AL East. I think they have the best offense in the division, and they also have high-quality pitching in Manoah, Gausman, Barrios, and more. So then I was left with the Yankees and the Rays in the wildcard race, and the Yankees are dealing with so many injuries, but they still have a good offense, and Rodon is slated to come back on the earlier side of the year, hopefully April. And the players that are replacing all the injured players are not bad by any means, so I think that if they can remain afloat and they could weather the storm of all the injuries, that they'll still be competitive. The Rays I will get back to, as it actually pains me that I didn't put them on this list, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The AL Central was really close for me between the Twins and the Guardians. Both teams have good pitching, but I like the Twins' offense a little better. Again, it was very close. For the AL West, I picked the Astros. I still think that Houston has an edge, but Seattle is really no joke. They're actually my second favorite team in the American League, and they're very well-rounded. I'm really excited in particular about their rotation and their bullpen. But then I also love the Astros team. They're also well-rounded. Framber Valdez might be my favorite pitcher in all of baseball. At least he's among them. For the wildcard teams, we'll go back to talking about the Rays now. I was between the Guardians and the Rays for the final spot, and I am a Rays fan. They're my favorite team. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Of the teams here, I think the Guardians and the Rays are the most similar, but the Guardians just have a better offense than the Rays. They both have good pitching. The Rays are a special team, but I worry about their offensive productivity falling into the hands of only a couple of players. They're always competitive and have been able to overcome any offensive struggles with their elite pitching and low-scoring games. But this year in particular, I'm a little worried about them because of the shift restrictions. I wonder how much that's going to impact their game plan and their ability to keep the games low scoring. But all that being said, I am still rooting for them. The Astros are my World Series winner. I do think it's a stretch that it actually happens just because it's so hard to win the World Series in the first place, and then it's even harder to repeat that championship. But I really think that they're the team to beat, and I can't justify putting another team in that position right now. For the awards, I picked Shane McClanahan to win the Cy Young. All of his pitches have above average results. His changeup's incredible. He has plus control. For MVP, I picked Ohtani. I think we saw last year with Judge just how hard it is and how much productivity is required to beat out Ohtani. For Rookie of the Year, I picked Anthony Volpe. There might be a little bit of bias here with Volpe, but I really like him. I'm excited about him. I also considered Henderson on the Orioles and Masataka Yoshida on the Red Sox, but I ultimately picked Volpe, and he has a really well-rounded offensive profile. There might be a little bit of an adjustment period, but I really think that he's going to do fine and excel this year. So now these are all my predictions for the National League. So starting with the NL East, I picked the Mets, but it really was a toss-up between the Mets and the Braves. If you want to switch them, that's totally fine with me. The Braves actually have one of my favorite offenses in all of baseball. NL Central, I picked the Cardinals. I really like their position players, especially their infield. But we could talk about the Brewers in a second here. The NL West, I picked the Padres, but it was very close with the Dodgers. Both teams are very good. It's really hard to argue against the Padres when you look at their offense. They have so many incredible and talented players in it. But then when you look at the Dodgers, they also have a lot of incredible and talented players in their offense with good bat-to-ball skills and good plate discipline. So my World Series contender was between the Dodgers and the Padres, but I ultimately picked the Padres. For the wildcard teams, I have the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Brewers. The Phillies are also in this conversation, but I picked the Brewers just because I think their offense is better, especially when considering some of the injuries that the Phillies have been dealing with. The Brewers also have better pitching right now in Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta, and their top guys in the pen. But hopefully the Phillies can get Ranger Suarez back soon. That's a big loss for them that he's starting the year on the IL. For the awards, I was between Corbin Burnes and Sandy Alcantara for Cy Young, but I ultimately picked Alcantara. I know he won last year, but I think he's going to repeat. He's so good. He has good control. He gets weak contact on his stuff, and all of his stuff is good. MVP was really tough. I mean, it could be Soto, Acuna, Turner, Betts, whoever. And I don't really have a good reason for picking Turner other than he's on a new team. It's very exciting, and I think he's going to do great with the Phillies this year. But if you wanted to say Acuna is going to win the MVP, I'd say, yep, you're right, he might win the MVP. For Rookie of the Year, I almost picked Jordan Walker on the Cardinals, but then I shied away from him and ultimately picked Corbin Carroll on the Diamondbacks. I think Walker is at a bit of a disadvantage because he's being promoted from AA to the Major League level, and I think that's going to be a much longer adjustment period, whereas Corbin Carroll already has some exposure to the Major League level, and I think that's going to give him the push needed to beat out Walker in the Rookie of the Year voting. Let me know what you think is going to happen this season, and if you like this video, please hit subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Scalco Report. Thanks for watching.